What is up, y'all? I know it has been a long minute since you guys have heard from me. Obviously, if you're true to the Jono Barnes channel and not new to the Jono Barnes channel, you know that I've been busy being a dad and dedicating essentially my entire existence now to my newborn kid. And it's been a blessing. It's been great. I absolutely love it. But I couldn't let the NBA draft go by without not giving my thoughts on the New Orleans Pelicans draft, because they were definitely one of the more substantial players in the draft last night for the first round. And I'm recording this right before round two starts, so we'll see if they even do anything significant in round two. But Pelicans definitely made some noise yesterday by taking two players. One, we took Jeremiah Fears with the number 7 pick, which I love. I am so glad that Jeremiah Fears fell to us at number 7. I'm not going to act like I'm an analyst or anything like that, but I always go by as a fan, like the eye test. And something about Jeremiah Fears, I'm like, this guy kind of feels like he can be one of those people that you look back on 5, 6, 7 years from now and be like, how did he fall to number 7? You know, like Damian Lillard type player, right? Like, how did he fall all the way down to, I believe Damian Lillard fell to 9. Like, how did he fall down? I think Jeremiah Fears could be one of those type of players. So I was excited. I was like, damn, that's actually a good come up for the Pelicans and a future. And then we traded up from the number 23 pick to the number 13 pick, so 10 slots, with the Atlanta Hawks to take Derek Queen. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. I like Derek Queen. I was excited about that pick too. If you would have told me before Wednesday that the Pelicans are going to walk away from the first round with Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, I would have said, sign me up. That's a hell of a first round draft. Now, obviously, we don't know what these guys are going to be like in the professionals. We can only go by what we believe they can be. I believe those two can be very good players. What I do not like, what I absolutely do not like, is the trade that we made to come up and get Derek Queen. And let me just say that again. I like Derek Queen as a player. I do not like the trade. Both things can be true, because I feel like right now in my little social media bubble that I'm on, things can get lost in translation when you say that you don't like the trade. But for the Pelicans to trade the number 23 pick, to move up 10 slots to get the number 13 pick, and trade an unprotected first round pick next year. That's what the New Orleans Pelicans did. I was shocked. My mouth almost hit the floor when I saw that we traded a unprotected first round pick. I was excited when we made the trade, because I was like, oh shit, we might be getting Derek Queen. And I thought for sure, I was like, oh, well, I know, I didn't even have to question. I was like, I'm sure we protected the pick. So like, if we by chance decide to be the Pelicans again and have a bad season next year, it'll be a top 3, top 5 protected pick, right? No, it was an unprotected pick. Along with the fact that if you are following the Pelicans very intently, you know that we had the rights to the Milwaukee Bucks first round pick next year. So the Pelicans, before we traded the pick, essentially had a nice little asset going for us, in that if the Bucks are bad next year, and they might be, because we don't know what the future of Giannis is. I'm assuming Giannis is still going to be a Buck, but still, we know Damian Lillard is probably out for the year. If the Bucks somehow have a bad season, right? Whatever happens, we'll see. Then if the Pelicans had a good season, the Pelicans can say, oh no, we want the Bucks pick, because the Bucks finished in the bottom 4, bottom 5 in the lottery. They have, the number 3 pick now. We want that pick. The Pelicans had that going for them. That was a heck of an asset, if you ask me. A heck of an asset. Or we just keep our pick if the Pelicans are bad again. I mean, because Lord knows y'all know how I feel about us going into year 7, putting our hopes and faith in Zion. I hope he proves me wrong, but if we had a bad year, we get to keep our pick. Milwaukee keeps their pick. We had that option, right? We no longer have that option. Joe Dumars traded our pick next year and our rights to that Milwaukee Bucks pick, if the Milwaukee Bucks are a bad team next year, to move up 10 spots to take Derek Queen. Unprotected. That's asinine. I'm sorry. That is asinine. That might be even flat out stupid. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. We are not the Boston Celtics. And I hate to say this, we are not the Los Angeles Lakers either. Like, we are not this prestigious franchise that can be like, oh, we know we're going to be a contender next year, so who cares about our draft picks in the future? No, we're the New Orleans Pelicans. We have not made the playoffs in back-to-back years since 2008. Since 2008, the Pelicans have not had back-to-back playoff seasons. We haven't won a goddamn playoff series, I believe, in 5 years now, 6 years? So why in the blue hell are we trading away an unprotected first-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks? Now, again, this is not a knock on Derek Queen. I like Derek Queen. I actually think Derek Queen has the potential to be not only like one of the most popular players on the Pelicans, but in the city of New Orleans. I think Derek Queen is going to be a fun player for the city to, get hyped about, have fun with, But goddamn, to give up a unprotected pick. And honestly, I was actually pretty calm with my hot take, if you want to call it that, on Twitter after the draft. I didn't even go hard on the Pelicans. It ain't like I tweeted, oh, what a dumbass trade, or this is a stupid ass organization or anything like that. I simply put, brother, we are the Pelicans, so that's a risky move. I said, that's a risky move. That's all I said. I thought that was pretty logical, right? Like, I think even the most passionate and rabid of Pelicans fans would be like, ooh, that is a pretty risky move. But you would thought I'd say, God damn, this is the worst franchise of all time. I mean, goddamn, I understand that fanaticism is a thing, and I make fun of fanaticism all the time, but slow your roll, Pelicans fans who came at me. Good luck, because my mentions on Twitter, randoms, and make sure y'all follow me on Twitter, by the way, while I'm kind of taking a break from content consistently because I'm focused on Lil Jono. But y'all get my thoughts still every day on Twitter when it comes to jokes, fun, all that good stuff. But random people, because I have a big platform, so obviously when my sports takes go out there, it reaches a wide audience. Oh, Johnny, you're a fair weather fan, and you don't know what you're talking about, and we didn't do anything with David Griffin with all the draft picks we had, so why do you shut the hell up? Shut the hell up. First of all, I never told any fan, I always say this, I never tell a fan how you have the fan. I never say, oh, how dare these fans be excited about the trade. If you are excited about the trade, more power to you. More power to you. If you are excited about the trade, more power to you. But don't get mad at fans who are like, oh, let's slow our roll, y'all. That's kind of a risky trade. Like, we are the goddamn New Orleans Pelicans. We are not the Boston Celtics. We are not the Los Angeles Lakers. When you walk into the Smoothie King Center, you do not see multiple banners hanging up about how great we were, okay? We are historically one of the most mediocre-ass franchises in sports, not just the NBA, in sports. So forgive me if some fans like myself are a little bit hesitant to crown the Pelicans after giving away an unprotected first-round pick when the Pelicans have been historically mediocre for the past few years and we're relying on an unreliable-ass star player in 2026. I'm sorry. On my platform, I am never going to be afraid to say how I really feel about both teams, good or bad. I like to be wrong. I've always said, if I'm wrong, like for a negative reason, I hope the Saints and Pelicans prove me wrong. Sadly, since I've been doing content for the past 4 years, they have not given me many reasons to come on here and be wrong. I mean, to celebrate being wrong. They usually have me wallowing in my misery of being right when I'm negative about them. But I just think it's ridiculous to not feel like fans can question the fact that we traded an unprotected pick, y'all. An unprotected pick and the rights to that Milwaukee Bucks pick, knowing the uncertainty that the Bucks franchise has right now, to move up 10 slots to get Derek Queen. Now, this all might be for nothing. Derek Queen might wind up being a great player, and nobody gives a damn about this 5 years from now. Derek Queen is an all-star player, right? Nobody gives a damn if that pick ends up being next year, the number 13, the number 10 pick, hell, even the number 7 pick again next year, right? If that's what the pick ends up being. But you still cannot act like you cannot question the process. I think that was a stupid move by Joe Dumars. The Pelicans, in my opinion, right now, as of June 26th, are not a good team. We are not a good team. We are putting our faith again in an unreliable superstar in Zion Williamson. I use the word superstar loosely because you got to play a certain amount of games to be a superstar. He hasn't even played a playoff game yet. And again, I like Zion personally. I want him to prove me wrong, but I jumped off that train last year, and I'm like, I'm not going to keep going through this damn cycle of, if Zion is healthy, if Zion is healthy, if Zion is healthy. Essentially, Joe Dumars is betting on Zion being healthy again, and the Pelicans making you got to make the playoffs. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no tanking next year, which is fine. I hate tanking, to be honest. Like, it was exhausting to cheer for the Pelicans to lose last season, only to end up with the number 7 pick. It is exhausting to cheer for your team to lose. I'm kind of glad that I do not have to, no matter what, I have to cheer for the Pelicans to win because that is our only option. For this trade to even be average, the Pelicans have got to do good next year. And I'm sorry, let me know in the comments, are there 8 teams in the West right now that you can name that the Pelicans a top 8 team in the West? Be honest with yourself. Do you think the Pelicans right now are a top 8 team in the West? Even the top 10? Because I think right now, our best case scenario is a play-in team, to be honest. So top 10. I mean, at minimum, we better be a play-in team. If you want to trade away your unprotected pick next year, you better be a play-in team. But you got to hope that not only are the Pelicans good next year, which is a non-negotiable at this point, the Pelicans need to be good. For Joe Dumars to have this trade be a success, the Pelicans need to be good next year. And you got to hope that the Milwaukee Bucks are good. Because if the Milwaukee Bucks wind up having a shitty year and the Hawks get their pick and they are like the number 2, number 3 pick, you're going to be like, God damn, that could have been our pick. All right? Now, look, again, I like Derek Queen as a player. I think he's going to be fun. He might make this all for nothing. And we're like, who cares? Derek Queen wound up being, one of the best NBA players of his era. But goddamn, man, what a New Orleans Pelicans. You can't tell me that Joe Dumars couldn't have got some team to agree to the trade with the protection of that pick. Like, hey, we're giving you our first round pick, but if by chance we fall in the top 5 of the draft the next season because we had another bad year, we get to keep that pick. So, I mean, goddamn, I can't applaud in a weird way the aggressiveness. And that's what a lot of fans kept telling me. But all David Griffin did was sit on the draft picks that we had, and you can't babysit all the draft picks. Well, first of all, it's our draft pick. What the hell you mean babysit? How the hell you gonna babysit your own draft pick? It's our draft pick. We traded our draft pick. You can't babysit a future draft pick when it's your draft pick. But either way, I get it. Fans are built off hope. No matter how consistently mediocre this franchise has been for the past 2 decades, fans are always going to be fans and say, oh yeah, but you got to be positive or whatever. God bless you if you are. I'm not telling anybody. I did not go on Twitter last night and say, how dare any fan be excited about the trade. I simply say this is a risky-ass move. And I could have went harder. I could have went harder on the Pelicans and say it is a dumbass trade. Because deep in my heart, I'm like, I think it's a dumbass trade. Right? Not Derek Queen. I think Derek Queen's going to be a fun player. But just trading an unprotected first-round pick when you are the New Orleans Pelicans, a franchise that is consistently dealing with injuries, a franchise whose superstar player, who you are essentially putting all your hopes in, is a player who has never played 65 games more than one time in the season. I'm sorry. I think it's goddamn ridiculous to trade an unprotected first-round pick. So that's just my thoughts I wanted to get out. I really want to know in the comments what you guys thought about the Pelicans first-round trade and first round in general. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited about Jeremiah Fears. Like, hopefully y'all are like I am. And I want to know, what do you guys think about the trade? Do you think I'm overreacting? Do you think it was a good trade? Because a lot of people on Twitter saying it's a good trade. And I'm still getting people in my mentions, questioning me for daring to say, oh, it was a risky trade. I mean, God forbid, the New Orleans Pelicans, right? Like, you would think we're the Boston Celtics. You would think sometimes on social media, like, we are this franchise that, you can never question the Saints and the Pelicans because Lord knows the Saints and Pelicans have just been kicking ass the past few years, huh? I don't get that. Like I said, I understand that I am Mr. This Shit more than the game. I understand that people usually come to me sometimes thinking that I'm always going to be rah and go team. But I've always said, look, this shit more than the game, if anything, is real. It's real and it's raw. It's going to be loud and proud. And yeah, I could be a hypocrite sometimes because, I sometimes put away the record of my teams like the Saints and Pelicans to talk shit to division rivals and all that, but I'm also real with you guys. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what did you think about that trade? I don't love it. I don't love the trade. I don't love the process. My faith in the Pelicans as an organization right now still remains pretty low, even though I am excited about what Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen can possibly do in the city of New Orleans. But to give up an unprotected first-round pick when you are the New Orleans Pelicans, it's asinine. And I understand that New Orleans, we as citizens love to take us versus the world attitude. So when we see a lot of national media people shitting on the Pelicans right now, our first thing is to put up a defense mechanism. And that's fine. Lord knows I embrace the pettiness of our city. But the Pelicans ain't got no bullets in the chamber to be taking any shots. I saw our official team account on Twitter. They took a shot at Bill Simmons because Bill Simmons on the Ranga podcast just basically went off, like a lot of other national media members, by the way. He wasn't the only one, but he went off on how it was one of the dumbest trades, I believe he said, in the past 5 years or something like that, or a top 5 worst trade in the past decade. I think that's a little hyperbolic. I think we need to let the whole outcome of what happens play out before we say it was a top 5 worst trade in the past decade. But the Pelicans social media team found the clip from NBA insider Shams, who kind of had the opposite opinion and say, well, let's let it all play out. We can't criticize anything, which I disagree with. I think you can actually criticize the process of the trade. You can't, you can defend, the idea of Derek Queen and say, hey, he might wind up being great and it means nothing, but you can't get mad or say that it's, illogical to call out the process. But either way, Shams was like one of the very few national media members who actually did not shit on the Pelicans. So the Pelicans official team account on Twitter took that clip and took a shot at Bill Simmons and said, well, it's nice to have somebody rational like Sims, it's nice to have somebody rational like Shams, unlike the Ringer podcast, which was obviously a shot at Bill Simmons. And usually, and again, I might be a hypocrite, but I'm just a fan, so I can talk shit, right? Like, I could be illogical. But the official team account for the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that hasn't won a playoff series in, 7-8 years, a team that hasn't made the playoffs in back-to-back years, talking shit to a national media member when we got, again, no bullets in the chamber to take any type of shots. Yeah, sometimes this organization confuses me. I get, embracing the pettiness of New Orleans, but goddamn, Pelicans, win some games first. Win some games before you start coming back at national media members, okay? Win some games before you start clapping back at anybody who's questioning the trade. Make the playoffs, okay? At least let Derek Queen have a solid Rookie of the Year season. Make the playoffs before you get on your high horse and go on your Twitter account and say, the Pelicans are great. How dare you national media members have come talk to us. That, I understand. Like, go at the national media members if we have a good season. But goddamn, don't do it after less than 24 hours after the first round. Like, we got no bullets in the chamber as a franchise right now to talk shit to anybody. We are seen as a bottom 3 franchise in the NBA. We got no goddamn ammo. If this was like the 2018, 1920 Saints, yeah, talk all that shit on the official account. We the Saints. We one of the best teams in the league. We're the Pelicans right now. We're one of the worst teams in the league. You can't be talking shit from the official team account. I can't co-sign that. I know I'm a hypocrite. People gonna say, John, you talk shit all the time, but I'm a fan. I'm not an official employee at the team. Not anymore. I used to be. And when I was an official employee at the team, guess what? I wasn't doing content because I was professional. I said, I can't talk shit because I'm an official team employee. But now that I'm a fan again, I can talk all the shit I want. So it's wild to me that the official Pelicans account on Twitter was taking shots at Bill Simmons, knowing how shitty our franchise has been. And it ain't like, Bill Simmons doesn't have any data to go back on, taking back any shit talk that he did on the Pelicans. We're a badass franchise. It is what it is. We are a bad franchise. And this trade might be another reason why people say we are a bad franchise. So it's a bold strategy, Pelicans. Let's see how it plays out, huh? Because that tweet can definitely be and will be probably utilized by Bill Simmons and national media if the trade winds up being a disaster. I hope it's not. I hope it works out. Never let my takes or my rants or ramblings, whatever you want to call it, get in the way that I always cheer for the team to be successful. And I don't care. I'm not afraid to be wrong when it comes to sports. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Like I said, Derek Queen might be a great player. We might make the playoffs. None of this might matter. But as of today, that was a stupid trade. That was a stupid trade. We got a good play out of it, knock on wood. But to give up an unprotected first-round pick when you are the New Orleans Pelicans and to give up the rights to that Milwaukee Bucks pick, knowing that the Milwaukee Bucks are in limbo right now, I just don't know what this franchise be thinking sometimes. But like I always say, I'll make my apology as loud as with disrespect if they prove me wrong. Sadly, they usually only make me prove myself right. If you're new to the channel, for whatever reason, I doubt that it will, but the algorithm brings you here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to go on now. Y'all can see the exhaustion in my eyes and continue to be a dad. It's been a great joy. I love it very, very much. And we'll get back into the consistency of the content soon enough. But I just had to let my thoughts be known about the Pelicans trade in the first round last night, especially because these random ass fans was coming at me on Twitter for daring to question the almighty and prestigious New Orleans Pelicans. What can I say though? This shit more than a game.